The price of winning what every NBA contract cost in 2025-26. Every NBA team has a payroll, most of them paying more than they should for what they're getting, a handful of getting away with something, and a few contracts, when you see them next to the net wins number, make you wonder what anyone was thinking. I matched every 25-26 player's salary against the net wins for the season and where contracts exist but no games were played. The contract cost is noted, but no net wins figure exists. So, for example, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, and a few others who missed the full year. The result's a clean market price for basketball production, dollars per net win. Across the 470 players with valid data, the median cost is $5 million per net win. That's the baseline. Pay significantly more than that for each net win you're getting, and you're losing the market. Pay significantly less, and you found something. So what are the best values in the league? The players that are producing the most net wins per dollar spent among players on contracts of at least $5 million to filter out the minimum deals and the two-way signings. At the top of the list is almost entirely young players on rookie deals, which is exactly what you'd expect the rookie contract structure to be. It's the single biggest market inefficiency in the NBA by design. Teams get 4 years of pre-market rate production from drafted players, and the league's best executives build their windows around exactly that. And the names here tell a story. Jalen Duren at $0.65 million per net win is the most cost-efficient contract in the league among meaningful contributors at 10.1 net wins at age 22 on a deal that looks like a rounding error next to the contracts around him in Detroit. The Pistons' rebuilds look more competent this season than most expected, and Duren's efficiency is a large part of why. Wemby's at $1.17 million per net win deserves its own call-out, not because it's surprising. Rookie deals are always efficient, but because of the scale. 11.4 net wins is one of the highest totals in the league. He's one of the most productive players in the sport, being paid like a very good second-round contract. That changes in a year. The Oklahoma City Thunder appear twice in the top 10 with Wallace and Holmgren, and finished with the best cost per net win of any team, or nearly the best cost per net win of any team in the league. That's not a coincidence. It's what the best run organization in basketball looks like when you quantify it. The worst values in the league among players who are paid more than $10 million. Some of the contracts cost more per net win than actually was delivered. So there's a few patterns worth noting. Injuries dominated the list. Most of the players were hurt, limited, or playing through something. Trae Young played only 15 games before being traded to Washington. Middleton and Davis were sidelined for significant stretches. Porzingis has barely been healthy in 2 seasons. Morant missed time again. The cost per net win ratio is brutally punishing for players who don't play. And most of these contracts look defensible when the player was healthy and producing. And you can look up the chart at netwins.substack.com with the accompanying written article. The ones that don't have an easy injury excuse: Jordan Poole at $36.6 million per net win, played 51 games and produced almost nothing. Darius Garland at $27.4 per net win, played 72 games and yet still only delivered 1.4 net wins. He's not hurt. He's just not that valuable to the Clippers at that price. Jonathan Kuminga at $27 million per net win is the most alarming number for a young player, 23 years old, $23.8 million in salary, less than 1 net win on the season, and over 50 games played. So let's look at team level efficiency. Who got the most per dollar? Taking every player's salary and net wins, rolling them up to the team level. The top 4 teams, in no particular order, OKC, San Antonio, Detroit, and Houston, are all teams whose rosters skew young and rookie deal heavy. That's the mechanism. What's striking is that all 4 are also legitimate playoff teams, are clear rising powers, not just cheap rosters with nothing to show for it. Getting young players on rookie deals to produce is the entire formula, and these 4 teams did it better than everyone else this season. The bottom of the table is a graveyard of bad veteran contracts. Sacramento paid $9.17 million per net win, second worst in the league, on the back of Sabonis at $42.3 million, and Zach LaVine at $47.5 million, combining for nearly $90 million and fewer than 3 net wins. Dallas paid $7.57 per net win, largely because Anthony Davis played 32 games and produced almost nothing while he was there. Golden State at $6.02 per net win is paying for Curry and Porzingis, 2 top 10 contracts delivering below replacement level output relative to price. So what does the market pay at each age? Across all 470 players with valid data, the median and median salary at each age, the going rate for players by age band, is listed. A few things stand out. The age 25 median of only 2.3 million is the lowest in the table, counterintuitively lower than ages 19 to 22. That's because age 25 is where the league has the most depth, a huge population of young players still on second year rookie contracts before their first extension kicks in, mixed with veterans who never quite earned a raise. The mean of 5.8 million tells you the distribution is heavily skewed by the handful who signed big deals. The age 27 median jumps to 13.9 million, the highest of any age band through 33. This is the post-max extension age. Players who signed the second contracts at 24, 25 are now in the heart of those deals. It's also where the gap between market reality and production is widest. Several players at 27 are locked into big money, signed when their career trajectories different. Ages 34 and 36 have inflated medians because almost no one's still playing at those ages. On a minimum deal. If you survive to age 34 plus in the NBA, either as a superstar still on a max or a specialist valuable enough to keep getting real contracts, the sample shrinks, the average dollar figure rises. Some players are being paid far above their age median, and the players who are doing that, the multiple median framing reveals the story of contracts. Almost every max deal goes to a young player, which means almost every max deal is paying 10 to 17 times what the average player at that age earns. Whether the player's worth it or not depends entirely on their net wins. Tyrese Maxey at 8.5 and Kate Cunningham at 9.3 are delivering at a level that justifies the multiple. Zion Williamson at 3.5, Jalen Green at 2, and Franz Wagner at 3 are not, at least not this season. Zion's case is the most dramatic, $39.4 million for 3.5 net wins. In a 25-year-old makes him the clearest case of a player whose ceiling earned no contract his floor cannot justify. Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant, age 36 and 37, both paid at roughly 12 times. The age 37 median represent an interesting argument. Both are legends who've earned every dollar historically, but Curry's 3.7 net wins and Durant's 9.9 this season show exactly how different two all-time great careers are aging. Durant playing for Houston remains a genuine top 10 producer. Curry's paying the price for his age in a way the box score is finally starting to show. Now, moving on to the players paid far below their age median, these are players whose production far exceeds what their contracts imply. The pool of players truly underpaid relative to both age median and net wins productions, surprisingly thin outside of rookie deals, most which appear through the cost per net win table. Drummond and Chris Dunn are veterans on minimum adjacent deals contributing genuine rotation value. Wembanyama is a category of one, technically paid above his age median as a 22-year-old, but so far below his actual production value that it belongs in a separate conversation entirely. So what does this all say? The NBA salary market does a reasonable job of pricing established stars. The problem is that it prices them based on their peak, not their current production. The contracts handed to players at 24 to 25 based on ascending career arcs become anchors when injuries, age, or development stalls. The teams paying 40 to 55 million per net win this season aren't necessarily worse at asset valuation. Many of them are simply paying the cost of bets that didn't land. The teams at the top of the efficiency table are there almost entirely because they drafted well, and those players haven't hit the extension cycle yet. In 2 to 3 years, many of these same contracts will look different. Wemby's rookie deal will end. Castle and Holmgren will sign extensions. The market will correct. Until then, the question every front office is answering differently is how much production can you get from players who aren't yet being paid what they're worth? The 25-26 data says the spread between the best and worst. The answer to that question is roughly 3 times, from 2.97 million per net win in Detroit to 9.74 million in Washington. That's the gap between a franchise that knows what it's doing and one that doesn't. Net wins is an original statistic. Develop that. Netwins.substack.com. Net wins formula and all written content are original. It works. All rights reserved. Thank you for your time.